Thank you for tuning in to I've Got Fava, where it's your time to shine with your host, Prophetess T. Hey, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are on God's green earth. We are glad to be back with you guys once again, where it is your time to shine. Guys, I told you, God is in the blessing business. Can I tell you that? I thank God for every opportunity He gets for me, or He gives to me to have the opportunity to meet some amazing, incredible angels is what I want to say that are in the earth, because you never know. That's why it's very important. Can I remind y'all of this? Do not, do not treat people nasty, because you never know who you're going to come across, what their influence is in the world, what doors, windows, walls they could kick down, mountains they can help you overcome. You don't know who they are in the kingdom of God. And I am just so truly honored and blessed that I had an opportunity to come across somebody. And in all honesty, guys, I don't even know how it happened. It had to be like a God destiny thing. I want to say it's because of Danny, as usual, because of course his little class, I can't even say his little class, because they're in a freaking super mall high school. I've never in my life seen anything like it. An airplane uh, hangar. Is that what it is, Danny? Is that what y'all say it is? With his 50, whatever. But anyways, he graduated from this humongous school, and these grown people, y'all, let me tell y'all about these CVS Cavaliers. I don't think they know they graduated. I don't care what class it is. I think they think that yesterday was their graduation. Because when these people get together, OMG, I had the opportunity to go to one of his reunions. I think actually it was a bonfire they were having. And I think there was people there from 1962. But these people were acting as if the next day was their graduation. They loved on each other. It didn't matter what class they were from, what have you, whatever. Y'all know how I do. I'm going around the mountain, of course, to get to my point. But anyways, this young lady that I am about to introduce to you guys happens to be one of his classmates, I guess, from CVS. So not that she graduated the year that he did, but they're all considered family. They don't care what year you graduated. They're just that solid. And I love their camaraderie between them. Like I said, it's as if they're still in high school. That's the way they act. But I love the energy and the vibe that they have. And so I do believe that's how I came across this young lady, is because of Danny's class. So, but I want to tell you guys, I was going to pull up her email and I got sidetracked and forgot to give y'all some goodness on this young lady. I want to share some incredible things about this woman. And when I tell you guys that she is an angel, I purely mean that, because I've never seen one thing I do want to say. I want to give her flowers because she deserves these flowers. Is she was an inspiration, and I had not even talked to her personally yet for me, and I've never told her this, but I had the desire to want to be a part of anything that she puts her hands or feet to, because the energy that she exuberate even when she was going through her struggle. And I remember when she was first coming out of it is probably when I really got introduced to her. Not still hadn't talked to her, but just getting to learn some of her story. She was going through her recovery, but she didn't let that stop her from doing what God had put into her to do. And I found that as a Black female, as an African American female, a strong Black woman, I found the energy that she just protruded and how she kept striving. There was even times that I think she was ready to put it down, but God would not let her. He would not let her, and I just thank God for that, because if she had put it down, I wouldn't have been inspired to keep doing what I do as well. So I don't know if she knows that, but I'm letting her know today. She is an inspiration for why I'm trying to do what I do and get better at it. Because I watch her and I look at her and I think to myself, in all that she's been through, single mom, and her children, my God. I haven't even told you about the amazing things that she's accomplished with her children. My God, how can I not? How can I not? So she's one of the, if I had to say there was somebody I admired, she is truly one of those. So let me tell you a little bit about her. So, first of all, she is the owner of Infinity Production, which was founded back in Chicago. She's a native Chicagoan. Meet Yourself is who I am telling y'all about. She started Infinity Production in May of 91. She wrote and began directing and producing her first movie, Clean Heart, under that company. And unfortunately, in January of 92, Ametra and Infinity Production came to a complete halt after she lost her mother, the vice president of the company, uh, due to a tragic automobile accident. And remembering her last conversation with her mom to never give up no matter what, Amitra used that as motivation to keep moving forward. The grief she experienced just wouldn't allow her to continue with the film, though. And at 94, Mitra gave birth to her son and became inspired to relaunch the company. See what I mean about the spirit of the Lord so heavy on her? He just don't let her sit no matter what her flesh want to do. So in 97, Amitra became a certified TV producer for Can TV. And this is when she began producing TV shows under Infinity Productions. So Infinity, I'm sorry. So y'all gonna have to bear with me. She comes with receipts. Let's put it like that. I want you to hear y'all a little. I'm gonna let her share her story. But this woman has overcome some amazing adversities. She has worked with some greats such as Robert Townsend, Angela Bassett, Victoria Rowell, and on and on. She's got receipts, y'all. So I am excited that she would let little old me come into her presence and just share some of her history and her story with you guys. She's an amazing woman. I'm going to need y'all to do me a humongous favor right now. Y'all know that button that's at the bottom of your screen if you're watching via Facebook. I'm going to need y'all to hit that share button, share it to your groups, get your auntie and cousin in them, and all the CVS Cavalier members of the school. Y'all need to be hyping up your classmate. If you guys got any questions, make sure you put them in the bottom of the comments. We'll get to you as fast as we can. If you didn't get an opportunity, if you can't sit and watch the whole thing, I'm gonna make sure this is pinned to the top of my page, and you can also check it out on the favorite channel on Roku, which is on the Infinity Television Network app, which you can actually download through Google Play. Hook that up and see it whenever you want. But I want to get it started because I want her to share as much as possible, whichever whatever she is willing to share with you guys. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, a great inspiration, a big part of everything that I do. And I'm so grateful to her. Ametria's self. How are you doing, sis?
Hi. Hello.
She's so soft spoken. Y'all hear her. I wish I had that little play of all the hand claps. Uh,
The sound effects.
yeah, I don't have to get that. I don't have to get that hookup. But I want to say once again, I can't say it enough. I am so appreciative of everything that you do. I thank you for every opportunity that you've afforded. I give a lot of the award that I just received to you, because if it had not been for you allowing me the opportunity to get some more exposure, I don't know that it would have went so well this time, because like this is my third nomination with them. And after last year's voting process, I didn't even think I was going to be in the running close to some of the people that were up there. So I give a lot of that credit to you giving me a greater platform to put I've got Fava on to get some more exposure so people could see what we do and how hard we go for God's people. So thank you for that opportunity. Once
Thank
again, I
you.
appreciate you. And I share that
Congratulations.
award with you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Guys, I it was a huge big deal to me. I'm still shocked about it. It's gonna take me a little bit to still get to settle down about it. And it's not like it's the first one I've received, but it's the one I wanted the most for the podcast. I love all my other ones. Don't nobody get it twisted. I'm
Right.
excited about the other ones too, but this one has a special place in my heart because there's another African American woman who does that program
Right. Yes.
last year as
Congratulations.
well.
And thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. So, like I said, everybody, we're going to get into this good tea. If you guys got questions, make sure you get them in there. We'll get to them as fast and as quickly as we can. But I want to get into this good tea about this woman. So, I just learned some new stuff about you as well, kind of looking at just the first part of your bio. But I just want you to share with the people through your own words so they can hear it in your voice and experiences as if they're walking right beside you through it, how you got started again in this, and you know what you had to overcome to hang in there and to do this.
Okay. Again, Ametra self. And actually, I remember starting having visions for the entertainment industry when I was 4 years old. I actually wrote a manuscript and it was called Once I Lived on State Street, even though I never lived on State Street. But I wrote Once I Lived on State Street and I used my siblings as characters. I even made a song. I didn't realize that was the beginning of me beginning to like musical theater. And like later on in life, I would produce a musical theater. But it started when I really started thinking, this is something I really want to do. I was attending CVS High School, Chicago Vocation on the south side of Chicago. So I want to send a shout out for that. And you are absolutely right. The support system there is just outstanding. It started, I remember in my junior year, I took drama and I had my teacher, Miss Saja, and she taught me a lot. Um, and I also learned some things that I just realized this year. Being an actress, I wanted to be an actress. I also wanted to be a news anchor. But back then, I didn't see that. So when I would bring that to to the attention to others, they were like, "What?" Excuse me. These things were unheard of. So I was kind of always ahead of time, so to speak. But I would always watch um, a news anchor, Fahey Flynn, and for some reason, or something about him, I wanted to do that same thing. And so I remember in high school when I was taking a class, and that was when computers were first coming out. So the computer that we had, it converts to a television. And I remember getting busted by my teacher every time because that's when the Oprah Winfrey Show started coming on. And I was just like, this is something I want to do. I knew right then and there, this is something that I really want to do. And I started writing my own scripts again, because when I was about 4 years old, I wrote like a little skit with a song to it. So by the time I got into my high school, I wrote my first script. And I didn't really know what I was doing. And I had someone to tell me, hey, I have someone that works at this theater. They can really help you with this. And I handed my script over. And I handed my script over, which is a no-no. But it was kind of all over the place. But I've learned some valuable lessons from that. By me handing my script over, a few years later, I wanted to do my own movie. So people were like, are you a movie. And I was like, yeah, I want to do my own movie. I invested in a camcorder and I said, this is going to be my movie camera. And what I ended up doing is I had a cast. I did my own casting. I started this back in 1991. And in May, I said, okay, I'm going to start my own production company. And I did that. And by the help of my brother, I explained to him what happened because we were in the middle of rehearsing. And for my screenplay, it was later a book. But for my screenplay, one of the cast members, she played one of the leading roles. She came back to me and she said, I just saw your play. I just saw your movie. It's a play. So when I handed over my script, they didn't help me. They turned my script into a play and just without me.
Mhm.
So I found out from my brother, Andre, he said, always copyright protect your material.
There you go.
Before you let anyone see it, make sure you copyright protect it. But at the same time, so I learned that, but it also made me work harder on that script. I didn't have a main character. I didn't even have a title. I was just writing stuff. So a I took a course that showed me exactly the standard way to write a script correctly. And I developed my main character. And even though that's one script that I have not produced into a movie, I did convert it into my first novel. So I published it back in 2005. And that's my next project. And I said, I have to. I was going to do it in 2021. And then I became ill. And so a lot of that had to come to a halt, a temporary halt, I'm going to say. But that's how I got my start. Um, I was just trying to get my stories out. So every year after that, I started writing a screenplay, and I said, I'm going to promise myself I will produce a feature length movie every year. After that, I started digging into other things. I was probably one of the first to do a digital magazine. I had this vision to, in the early 2000s, I don't know if it existed back then, but I wanted to do this digital magazine. And I did a couple of issues, and a lot of times the different things that I was coming up with, a lot of times people don't understand. They don't support what they don't understand.
Right.
And at those moments, I was like, oh, I just go, okay, forget it, forget it. But I did, when I lost my mom in a tragic car accident, I lost my mom and my aunt. And I went on hiatus. I was like grieving really bad from that. And I just remembered my mom telling me the last conversation I had with her was, no matter what, never give up. And I kept that with me. And that was I established Infinity Entertainment in 1991. I was the president, of course, but she was the vice president. And we lost her in January 1992, not even a year later. And after that, for the past 33 years, every time I wanted to give up, I thought about that last conversation that I had with my mom. And I said, I can't give up because if I give up, that means that everything she taught me just goes in vain. And so I
Mhm.
didn't want to give up.
That is truly awesome. I was listening to some of what you said, and I do like the idea. Um, I myself wanted to write, like I love to write because I love to read. I love to read,
Yeah.
um, but I did that. Like I let my mother, which was one of my hardest critics, I let her read something I had because my mother was a person like you. My mother was very gifted. I mean, she sang. My mother even went to Motown at one time. She had a group and she could write and sing and draw and all these great things. So I valued her opinion, and she critiqued my writing so much. I actually put the book down, and I never
Oh,
picked it back up. But I like what you said because you didn't let, even though you said that you felt like everything was all over the place, even though maybe that person's intent wasn't the best interest for you, maybe. I don't know. You still didn't let, you know, even going through the changes and learning what you did learn from it and learning how you should protect your stuff and all that stuff. You did not let none of that discourage you, even without support, even being turned down. Look at you now, 33 years in the industry and great things you've done.
Thank
People just don't even know what you're attached to. So that's what I was saying about guys. You never know who
you.
you know and who they know and what they're doing. Um, I I mean, I learned something about my neighbor next door. So some of
Oh,
the people
yes,
she
I
was,
watched that video. I watched your interview. That was nice.
and she did a short film in Chicago. She just come back what three
I
months
saw
ago.
that. I
So
saw that.
I was like, you have I been here almost a whole year. And you just, I just thought she was a little yoga fairy,
Mhm.
She doesn't really say a whole lot. We talked to her mother more than anything, and then to find out
Okay.
so, I mean,
You just never know.
yeah, so I'm like, truly, I don't know if even your classmates know what a great individual they have in their presence. But I'm just grateful that your mom instilled something. She planted a seed in you that allowed you to go on. And I think it, even through everything that you're going through in your transformation, is getting better at what you do. Um, that you hung in there even through the adversities.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, um, I know you were saying that the first tragedy that you experienced was the loss of your mom and your auntie so quickly as you're getting started at doing what you're doing in the industry, um, and then you come up with what everybody's afraid to talk about, the big C. You
Yes.
find out you have
Yeah.
cancer. So tell us how that was, because you actually were sharing something that I told you it had to be a God thing to prepare you, and
Mhm.
without you even knowing it. So can you tell us about how that was for you?
Oh, yes. To kind of give a backstory, back in 2014, actually, my son and I collaborated and we wrote a script together and we actually produced it into a movie and it's called Love Story. And we finished it. Hasn't been seen yet, and that was 10 years ago actually. My all of my children were in it. I had a small part, so I dipped in and out so that I could go into the directing part. And
Mhm.
one portion of the story was based off of a really good friend of mine and also classmate who was diagnosed with breast. She had breast cancer.
Uh-huh.
Rest in peace. And so I wanted to write something to highlight that, as well as my son wanted to highlight the portion about inner beauty. What happens when your appearance changes? And so after that, we started. He said, "I want to do it as a musical because my all of my children are into musicals." And so we did another version, a musical movie version, and that one we titled "There's Hope." And we reproduced that. We had our screening, but he said, "I want to be able to do this on stage." And I said, "Okay." That's when I backed out because I'm not about to perform live on stage. I did that at CBS. But I'm not about to do that. I will operate the camera and I will film this. And so we did the casting and everything. And it was really different because doing the stage play, you would think that people would not show up. When you're doing the TV and film, it's like they get the script, they learn on their own, and they come back, we're ready to shoot and we're done. With
Mhm.
the musical stage play and musical, they have to see each other all the time because there was acting, singing, and dancing. And my son put together all of the songs and the dance and all of that good stuff. And he had a vision. He said, "I want to do this at the DuSable Museum." And I was like, "Oh, he's thinking big, big. Okay, so let me let me not limit, how our growth." And I'm glad we did that, even though I was like, "Oh, this is gonna cost a lot of money." So I was pulling my hair out trying to sell tickets. Again, like I said, even though it was about to bring awareness to breast cancer awareness because we're independent.
Mhm.
So unless you have a celebrity or a famous person, a lot of times, and I'm just being honest, a lot of times people don't, you get looked over. They don't
Yeah.
look at the big picture. But we did manage to have a nice crowd. And but most important, see, all even if it's just one or two or three people,
Mhm.
my all of my children, they all graduated, came out of these school district 149 in the south suburbs. The superintendent attended, the principal attended, and a couple of the teachers, they all attended, because I can, my daughters were in it, and they were amazed. Not only that, because when they didn't know that this is what the Self family does. We're a family
Oh,
business. So because I did not push this on my kids, I want to let everybody know that I did not. I had no idea my children would all want to do this for a living. Actually, my son started off when he was in school, he was in the band. And so a cute girl was like, come on, let's go audition. And he auditioned and he took the part, and he just took off from there. And same thing with, but he started teaching my daughters when they were like toddlers, and they were doing skits and the Lion King and all of that stuff. And I was like, hey, we got something going here for a family. And so when we actually did the musical, and the superintendent came and the principals, and they were like, we need the story for to do a field trip. And I was like, I was I was kind of
wow.
surprised, because you're talking about doing this play in front of children. Well, we
Uh-huh.
tried to bring light to a dark situation, and my son, and they made it really, the actors and his friends, they made it really entertaining, but at the same time educational. And we had
Uh-huh.
someone that was doing giving out free mammograms. And so my son Kendall and I, we went and had meetings with the superintendent, and she had 8 schools and
Wow.
grades. She did fifth, and fifth barely made it. Fifth made it because my youngest daughter, who was the starring kid in it, she was in fifth grade all the way through eighth. But I didn't understand it then like I understand it now, because it was, the kids had questions, and they were like, some of the kids, they actually had mothers or grandparents or grandmother or aunts and uncles. And then they discovered from our musical that it's not just for women, men can also get
Wow.
breast cancer. And so we made it, we tried to make it um, more inspirational, and also like not to give up type of thing. And so when we ended up fast forwarding, the pandemic hit. So we were going to do it in 2020. He wanted to go big at the Chicago Theater. He wants to tour it everywhere, New York, Broadway. The pandemic hit, so we had to halt. And then my son, he ended up going to college in New York, musical theater major. And so we were like, okay, we'll wait. Now the pandemic has lifted. We're about to start putting together a lot of things. I came up with the Infinity Stream, the one channel Infinity Stream, and we were going to start working on doing the Pink Princess, is the name of. We were going to start doing Pink Princess, the musical. And then I started feeling sick, like having various symptoms, swollen clavicle, just different things that started. And I kept telling my family, I was like, something is wrong, because even getting some alcohol on my back, it felt like someone lit a torch and threw it into my body.
Wow.
And so I was like, something is not right. Kept going back to the doctor, kept going back to the doctor. And there was this one medication that they put me on right before I started feeling this. And I kept saying, something's wrong, something's wrong. And I have people saying, you better take that medicine, you're gonna need that. And I was posting about it. I was like, something is wrong. It's something is going on that did not take place until after I started ingesting this medication. And at the end of August, there goes this. um, message that says this medication has been pulled, a recall contamination that could cause cancer. It still didn't click. I'm like, I told you all. That's see, I was in that. I told you all. You don't have to always have to take this stuff because if it's not making you feel good, it's supposed to make you feel better. And I stopped taking it. Whenever I stopped taking it, I feel better. I take it again. So I was like, I kept saying it, and it still didn't click. So now 3 years ago, around this time, September, go get my hair done, take my daughters, and the unthinkable happened. And I'm like, I get this symptom that's like, okay, what is this? And a lot of times people might say, people were saying, oh, that's normal, or that's menopause, or this, or maybe you were pregnant. I was like, okay, I'm not pregnant. I know that for a fact. Or maybe you had a miscarriage. But the different symptoms that I started getting, and I was like, something's not right. I kept going back to the doctor, back and forth, back and forth. And then it got to the point where I couldn't eat because I was full. I could not eat anything. And then my eyes started turning yellow. And it was my youngest daughter that brought it to my attention. She said, your eyes are yellow. And I said, oh God, okay. And so I had a doctor's appointment and I went to the doctor, and what she was observing me for, the conversation came up. Look at God. The conversation came up about my vision. I said, I have a vision impairment. And she said, is that why your eyes are yellow? And I said, my daughter said the same thing. And she said, let's run some blood work. And before I could get home, and she ran the blood work. Before I could get home, she called and she said, get her to the ER ASAP. Her liver, it says my liver is going to shut down. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? So it's this thing in your body that's bile ducts. So it made sense why, as I was eating, my food was not digesting, right? So my food wasn't digesting. And I think the last time, so it was like a whole month, and I just started losing weight. And when they took me back to the, when we went to the emergency room, and then, the COVID was kind of like coming and going. But when I went there, and oh God, every time I think about this. So when I went, they did all of these tests and everything. And they were like, okay. And they were about to dismiss me. And the doctor came in, a nurse or someone said, did they bring you down for a CT scan? And I said, no. Outside of my room, there's I think she was a security guard. I don't know what her title was, but she was just sitting outside. And she said, yes, they did. They gave her. She was in my business. They gave her a CT scan. And I was like, no, they didn't. She said, yes, they did. They gave you a CT scan. I didn't know this lady. I don't know if she worked there, but I think she was a security guard. And I said, I know I didn't get a CT scan. And they said, we're going to take you for a CT scan. And do you know the CT scan is what discovered? Originally, they were like, your bile ducts is blocked. The pathway that delivers your food from your liver to your stomach and what have you. We're going to have to do a surgery. So I'm like, okay. And I was like, now see, she said, I had the CT scan. They were going to send me home if they took her word. Mm-hmm. But I said, God, that's how adversary works. Like she was all the way out in the hallway and she was trying to convince them, because I'm telling you, when God has an assignment for you,
my God,
this adversary came back, because I was like, why does she keep saying I had this and I know I didn't have it? Well, the next day, I got admitted because they're going to now do this surgery to open up the path. My doctor comes in and he walks in, and it's, oh my God, I get the chills, because I had an actor who played the doctor in the first original movie version love story. And he said, no doctor would ever break the news to you like this. He was talking about my writing, how I wrote that script. I wrote how the doctor broke the news to the patient that she had cancer. He's like, he may be watching, but he was like, a doctor would never break the news like this. Oh, that is so cold. Did he not, And I was like, that was just my writing. That was just the vision. The way that the news was broke to me was pretty much exactly how it was written in my script
My God.
in 2014. And here we are in 2021. He walked in, clipboard in hand, and he just walks in and he says, we got a problem here. Now, all I know about is I need the surgery for this, that, and the other. So he's saying, this is thin and that's thin. And, but then we got this big cancer, pancreatic cancer tumor. What?
Wow.
And I was like, excuse me? And he was like, yes, you have pancreatic cancer. And I was like, are you kidding me? He said, no. That's why everything is shutting down. Your organs are shutting down.
Wow.
And I was like, the way I responded, because I was like, no, that's not my story. He started kind of getting a little agitated, like, I'm sorry, this is, and it was just like almost like how I wrote it in that script. So of course, we go through all of this and family, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my children. I didn't want anybody to know. The only person that I told was my husband. I was like, okay, I don't want anybody to know because there's no way I have pancreatic cancer. And I don't smoke, I don't drink, it doesn't run in my family. I was saying all of this stuff. So I had to stay in the hospital because they were ready to give me the port. They was like, and I had all of my doctors come, all these different doctors kept coming in because now they went in and they did the surgery. So I couldn't eat first. When they did the surgery and they had to put the tube down my throat, something hit my vocal box. So now I can't talk. I went in talking. Now I can't talk.
Wow.
Something happened to my vocal box, not from the surgery, but not from the attempted surgery, but in there. So because when they went inside, they saw all of my veins were all, he came back, he said, we can't do the surgery because if we go in there, it's going to kill her. We can hit a vein. And when I think about that, I said, that doctor could have been a doctor that said, I'm going to do this regardless, because what does she have to lose?
My God.
He didn't move forward with it. So now, because I wake up thinking that the surgery is done, and they were like, we didn't do the surgery, because that was my first time also being put under. And I didn't like that, but I couldn't help it. I had to do it. So they took me to another department where now they got to do something externally. I could not get any more medication, nothing, pain, anything. When I tell you, and I tell everyone that's listening, this procedure that they had to do, they had to put a tube in my stomach. So they had to cut and put a tube in my stomach and to drain all of the fluid. So now I got to wear this bag. People think it's other stuff in there. It's not. It's the bile, that it's the, when your food chops up and it breaks into these and it comes through. So because it was blocking, my food wasn't going to where it's supposed to go. It wasn't going anywhere. And so I had to do, when I tell you, they had me on that table, no pain medicine or anything. I said, I now know how it probably felt when Jesus got crucified and nailed to that cross.
My God.
That was the worst pain I've had childbirth, C-sections. That was the worst pain. I was wailing so bad you could hear it all the way down the hall.
My
I
goodness.
was the medical team, they were whimpering and they were like, we're not even supposed to be doing this. It was so painful when they got to know me really, really well and stuff. So um then back, I'm still in the hospital, still in the hospital. And every day a different specialist was coming in. Is you got pancreas? And I said, you know what? I'm discharging myself. And I told the oncologist that he's the only one of the only doctors I still have now. And I said, they're stressing me out and I'm going to be in worse shape than what I am mentally if they keep coming in here telling me every day that I have pancreatic cancer. I said, I need the final results. I am not believing that report. And he called all of them off of me. Leave her alone. He told me I have to save you. See, I had two ponytails. My hair was really long, and I had two ponytails. And he thought, he looked at me because of that. He looked at me like I was a kid. And I was like, I'm glad, because if he really knew how old I am, he wouldn't give me that attention. And he
Mm.
told them, make it enough. He called me. I went home, got discharged. I discharged myself. I went home on a Tuesday, and he called me, and he said, um, it's still cancer. He said, but it's not pancreatic cancer. You were right. And I said, oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank God. And he said, you have a treatable, curable form of cancer. So what you have is you have a 25 centimeter tumor in your chest. It was covering my liver, my kidney, my stomach, my intestine, my pancreas, where they thought, that's why they thought it was pancreas. It was covering my a little bit below my stomach area, and it was approaching my heart. And he said, I have to hurry up. It's rapidly growing. So the heart was the last place for it to go, and that would have been it. So I
My
went in
God.
just in time. And everything after that, I had one big meltdown. And after that, I kept saying, you got to keep a positive attitude. You got to know you're going to beat this thing. You got to know that you're going to come out of this thing. You got to pay your bills like you don't want no bad credit when you come out of this thing. You got to. And I prayed, and when I tell you that heavy burden was lifted, I don't know when it happened. I just know that all of a sudden I had this peace, the peace of God over me. And I didn't worry anymore. I didn't. I was expecting my first grandbaby right before my diagnosis. I found out I was going to have a grandson. And then my daughter, she was a senior, so she was about to graduate. And my youngest daughter, she was turning sweet 16. And it was just so many different big milestones. And I was like, oh no. And then my son called me one day, and my son, he's the oldest. And so I started off as a single mom with him, and I would have him doing acting and all of that stuff at the age of 4. And I called him, and I'm just crying and everything. And he gave me a song to listen to. One of the songs, I will admit, that first song, I was like, I think it says, it's a gospel song, and it says, ain't no need in, I say, ain't no need in crying when it's raining. So I was like, so it kind of made me feel really, really like, oh my God. I just started feeling really bad. He was like, okay, wait. No, listen to this song. Here comes a thought. And it helped me. That song really helped me. I played it so much that when my grandson was born, it seemed like it was familiar to him because, when you can hear outside, I played it that much. I played it every every single day. And it talks about, it's about, here comes a thought. It's like when you have those negative thoughts and different things that you can do, different exercises, because I've always had severe anxiety. I've always had where I would have these vivid dreams, and then a lot of times they tend to, it'll happen. And like with my mom, I saw that in a dream over and over again. So little different things like that. And so that really helped me as well. And then he called me and said, "What happened to Infinity Stream?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "It's gone." Everything was gone. And I was like, "Oh my God, I had forgot." So everything was gone. I lost the one channel, but God, I couldn't talk. And by now I can't walk. I couldn't walk. And so I was able to whisper, and I was telling them and typing. I'm telling them, I've been getting chemotherapy, and then I passed out. I was out for 4 days. All of these things was happening to me, and that's how I ended up getting the. They said, "We got something better for you. We're going to give you your own Roku channel, and instead of one channels, I'm sorry, instead of one channel, you're going to have a whole cable network. We're giving you 100 channels."
Look at God. He does exceedingly and
Yes,
abundantly, even more
yes,
than you can ever ask or
yes,
imagine. Look at,
yes.
I hate to do this, but we're running out of time. This is so
Okay.
good. I gotta bring you back. I gotta bring you back. So
Yes,
we gotta continue this. But guys, oh my gosh, tell me God is not good.
God is.
I wanted her to share her story with you because I don't know. Right now, the atmosphere that's over the world can cause you to feel some kind of way.
Yes,
And you just have to know that even in the midst of adversity, God is still guiding. He's
yes,
still doing things that he has set and destined to do. And I don't care what it is that you may be facing or going through, don't give up on God because he won't give up on you.
yes.
He is able. And I mean, she just gave you a minute part of this. Miss Mitra, I have to have you back because I want you to continue this. So,
Okay.
guys, I hate to do this to you, but
No, that's
I'm going to
fine.
give her like the last 2 minutes. If there's anything that you could share with anybody, just to encourage them, if this is something that they're experiencing, maybe not so as traumatic as what you are, but maybe they've hit a wall, and maybe they're about to throw in the towel. What would you encourage them? How would you encourage them?
I would say don't throw in the towel. Take some time, take a break from whatever that thing is that you want to do, and just relax, treat yourself, listen to music. That's what got me through a lot of this. Listen to, and when I say music, I mean positive music, nothing negative, nothing that's going to take you back to the days and you're crying because it reminds you of some hard times. And just try to be positive vibes only. Just try to keep a positive mindset no matter what. The sun will always shine in the morning.
Amen. And the
Amen.
sun is going to shine if we hold out.
Yes,
That was his sister's song.
yes,
So yes, weeping may endure for a night, but
yes.
joy,
Joy comes in.
joy. Amen. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I definitely have got to get you back on the books.
Oh,
I'm preferably it'll probably be because I'm booked for October, so it'll probably be maybe November or December.
okay.
We'll try to look at the calendar and see about getting you back. And there's going to
I'm
be a
not
part
going
two.
anywhere.
All right, I know you're not. God didn't kept you this long. He gonna keep you some more.
Yes.
So, guys, this is a Meet Yourself once again. She's an incredible individual. She is the reason why I am now on Roku. Yay! I thank God for her. She is part of the reason why we were able to bring home podcast of the year for I've Got Favor for
Yes.
2024 Music Love Awards. She has an amazing story, and I know if she doesn't put it to a book form, she's definitely going to put it to movie form. I don't know how she'll do that, but I'm quite sure it's coming.
Yeah.
So you guys, I wanted to share real quick. maybe you've got some interest in directing or musicals or television or something, and maybe you're looking for somebody to mentor or maybe give you some advice. She has allowed me to share her email address with you. So don't get crazy and retarded now. Don't, well, I shouldn't even use that word. Don't get special in what you come at her with. I mean, come on.
I've seen it
Respect
all.
her, respect her for who she is and what God is doing with her. So we're putting up her email where you can ask questions. Don't be asking her to introduce you to nobody. Y'all need to stop that kind of stuff. You got to earn where you got to earn your right to get into certain things. But I'm sure if you're interested in maybe getting some advice on how you get started, what avenues to take to go through the process of establishing your own television program or your own Roku channel, things like that. She also has those opportunities as well. I don't know if you're still offering channels
Yes.
on. So here's an opportunity for you guys to shoot her an email, to reach out to her, find out what it is that she may be able to offer to you to help you, boost up what you're doing. But guys, this was a great testimony, and I believe in sowing into good fertile ground. So I do want to put up Miss Ametra's Cash App. If you feel moved, if you feel that she said a word that maybe inspired you or has given you the confidence to step out into territory you're not even familiar with, please, this is good, good fertile ground. Sow a seed into her. There is her Cash App. If I take it down too quickly and you didn't get it, there's no excuse. You can go back later and go through fast forward and get to this, because I'm going to pin this to the top. But
Thank you.
once again, meet yourself, you guys. This is the owner of Infinity Television Network. She's the lady that has made it possible for I've Got Favor to have its own channel, the Favor Channel 32, on her app as well. And she made it possible for us to get on to Roku, where I always promote this. She says there's over 1 million viewers that have access to that. So here's an opportunity for your platform to be raised up and stepped up. And thank you again.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much. Thank
I
your
appreciate
family.
it. Thank
Um,
you.
we got to have you back, because y'all, she is not done. I mean, she just gave y'all an tip. I want her to share her whole story. So if you still have questions, whatever, you got something you want to say, you can leave questions here. She can see it. All you have to do is
Oh,
type her name after you say whatever, and it'll tag her and bring her back to the page. So
okay.
again, ladies and gentlemen, meet yourself, the
Thank
owner.
you. God bless
No, thank
you.
you. Thank you. Don't go nowhere. Stay there. Don't leave. The rest of y'all got to go somewhere. I don't know where you're going, but you got to get up out of here. And in the words of my favorite vegan personality, baby, go on and have yourself a good day. But if you can't, don't you go messing up nobody else's, right? So we'll see you again next week right here on I've Got Favor, where it is your time to shine with me, your hostess, Prophecy. Be blessed, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. We thank you for tuning in to I've Got Favor, where it's your time to shine with Prophetess T.